So I hope you're having a beautiful, fantastic, and productive day. I hope you're also taking time to rest. Today, I am doing a review on The Wedding People by Alison Espach. And so this book I retrieved from a little library, and what really drew me to this book was the brief description of just the setting. Actually, it takes place at a wedding venue close to the ocean, and the main character, they mentioned chocolate wine in the synopsis, and I love chocolate wine, and I just thought that was just such a quirky, very random item to mention in a synopsis or in a novel in general. I felt like this novel was fate for me to read, and I am almost done with it, and I still feel like it's fate. This book has such a kaleidoscope of characters, and each one is they are so distinct, and they are fully formed, round, three-dimensional characters with depth. And it's such a fascinating novel to read because you get multiple perspectives without the book being written in a multiple perspective format. You get the multiple perspectives organically through conversations, and the conversations are just so witty, they flow very well, and they stick very well to the personalities. The characters communicate themselves, their diction, and how they route the conversations. It really plays true to their individual distinct characters. I could really see these characters, even though the imagery for the characters themselves in this novel is not very vivid in a physical sense. However, you could still see their nonverbal communication, because that is laid out, and the scenery and how they interact with each other, how one character interacts with another character is different, just like real life. And this novel, I mean, it's very well done. And the plot, no spoilers here, but the plot starts from a very dark point in a character's life, and then it does progressively become more illuminated in an interesting and surprising way. And I started reading this novel when I was in a poor disposition. So with that being said, if you begin reading this novel, it is easy to categorize this novel as depressing at the beginning. It is. But there is levity, there is joy, there's quirkiness in this novel, and it becomes more and more apparent as the novel progresses. This novel it has characters from different stages in their life. So we have a character that's a teenage girl, all the way up to characters that are, I believe, like in their 70s. And you get the perspective of youth and maturity, which is refreshing. And it does seem like anyone within their 30s, a mature 30 something onward could really appreciate this novel. In particular, not to say that someone younger could not. I'm just saying that you're more likely to appreciate it if you are a very mature 30 something onward. And the communication from the female and males, she just did such a good job. And the novel is broken up into days. So it starts off with Tuesday, and it takes place over, my impression is 1 week's time. However, I still got like 75 pages to go, and writers write, and they give us surprises along the way. And with each day, there's a core activity. So you kind of get to know what the tone of each individual. A very brief insight to the plot. The main character is a college professor, and she has had a pivotal event happen in her life. And so she wants to just get away for a while. And she picks a venue that a wedding is happening at, and she encounters each member of the wedding party. This novel, it has so much wisdom in it. It has so much wisdom. And what I really enjoy about this novel is the characters. They are so honest and authentic. And with writing in general, I find that writers write often what people don't say out loud. And I mean, they might say it out loud, but it's rare. This novel, people talk about and they say things that are difficult to say, and they get deep with it, and they say what we are sometimes afraid to say out loud. I feel like in life there are a few conversations that we have that are just very impactful and pivotal. Self-actualization, like self-realization, moving towards my new future kinds of conversations. And those conversations are rare, but this novel really does a good job in having those conversations in a small scale, but also a large scale. But it's still fun. It's still a fun novel, and you really don't know what these characters are going to say next, even though it's deep. And this novel, I think, is really great for somebody that's a little lonely. I think loneliness is definitely a theme that runs through this, and what people will do to avoid that feeling of loneliness, because it is uncomfortable. It is unsettling. And what else about this? I recommend this novel. I would read this again in a few years. And this, it has discussion. The version that I have, it has discussion questions in the back, and they've got like 20 of them. This is a book that you talk about for sure, and I think this is going to be on the top of the New York Times bestsellers week, bestsellers list. I mean, it may not be this year, but it's going to be on some list for sure. There are so many metaphors, figures of speech, and it's really written in a beautiful way. And it is so evident that this novel, like, it's written in a complex yet simplistic way. The language is easy, but it's just so damn good. There are some wonderful references to classic literature like Jane Austen, Edgar Allan Poe, and a few more. And I also believe that the audience could appreciate that. Speaking of Edgar Allan Poe, there is definitely symbolism with his raven in this novel. I am going to read just a few quotes from the novel. Hopefully this does not spoil the plot. Here's the first one. Every man she dates, she thinks they're going to solve all her problems. Make her this better woman, the one she ought to be. The woman she doesn't know how to make herself to be. But she never got engaged to any of them. She never took it this far. This is just ridiculous. And it's all Henry's fault. Okay, this next one is actually from several chapters previous to that one. There really is no getting away from the wedding people. And this one, he looks directly at her as he gets in. Normally, this would be enough human interaction to make her leave a hot tub. But she's electrified by the direct eye contact. It's nice to be seen in this moment. Nice not to fear the sight of other people. She is the only person she is afraid of now. Okay, a side note in regards to the setting of this story is it takes place in 2022. So, there are a few post-pandemic references in this novel. And I did not initially like that, but it does enhance and enrich the story to give it a historical context. I hope you read it or at least check it out, and I really do hope you enjoy it. If you do read it, please let me know what you thought. Did you like the characters? Did you not like them? Did you enjoy the setting, the different elements of literature? What were your thoughts? You're wonderful. You're fantastic. Stay curious in every aspect of your life and keep reading. I hope you have a beautiful day. I adore you. If you have any recommendations, please leave them in the comments.